Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, Schlags. It's a fun Friday. First of all, let me ask you this. Buckeyes had a walkthrough today, so a little bit more of a chill mode. Changing up the practice schedule a little bit, Schlags. Yesterday, it's had faked me. I've been working off this like 9:30 to 11:30 practice schedule. And then, hey, you know what? They play big noon. So let's start getting out there in the middle of the day in the heat. So start working into that. What's nice is the Buckeyes, they don't have school next week, so they're not subjected to the 20-hour rule because that's still a thing. So then they won't have class, which is more important. So they're going to probably be able to practice somewhere in the middle of the day and get prepared, obviously, to be able to do that. So that'll be nice for them to work kind of at the game time that they're going to be playing. So that's pretty sweet. Oh, man, I just stumbled on this picture of AJ's Meathead Boys.
Who doesn't like a nooner? Old Buckeyes at noon, Texas. Yeah. Here we go. Buckle up, Buttercup. Week 0 is down the road. Coming fast and furious. Hey, guess who I saw yesterday?
Who'd you see yesterday?
I
just saw this thing of AJ, and it blew my mind because it's
you put it in the chat.
Boys, I just sent. Yeah, I put it in the chat. So Pat, you can toss that up. But Shikes, how was the move? What I really want to know. So Buckeyes are shifting a little bit, and so that kind of screwed me up. We got the Michigan reveal today, which we're going to get into here momentarily. Before we dive into that, though, Schlegs, I want to know the personal side, that human touch that you've always been talking about. How was the move in for Mr. Hunter Schlegel? How did you guys handle it? How did Stephanie handle it? How did it?
Look at that, guys. There's AJ's guys.
Yeah,
look at that.
I could have done that.
Awesome. I know you could have done that, but that's what I was doing. Hey, that's fantastic. The family that lives together stays together. Things are getting frothy. Training necks. I see a big neck over there. I like that. Hey, good move in.
On AJ, by the way, dude, we got some nice pipes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
it looks good. Yeah. It is a good look. That's that.
Says at the Junto Hotel, they got a Rogue rack in there. That's legit.
Yeah, that's a nice rack. I thought that was at his house.
Oh,
but no, they call that like the cave or something at Rogue. It's a good one. It's got the cable pull down and a full rack in there. Like, that's sweet.
Maybe I should get that. Well, I got the double cable down at our place. I got to figure out.
Listen, you need to talk to the guy that knows. That's me. I know what you need.
Well, I want to know about you dropping off Hunter.
No, it was good.
All parents out there that have either dropped kids off in college, have or will one day, let's hear what it was like.
No, it was great. I mean, we went up there, had his grandmother, grandfather, sister. Sam was
the whole family go.
Whole family went up there. It was just like to see the experience, and they did a really nice job. Like, they have a thing where
did Sam want to go up though?
Yeah, probably after his first day of school. So yeah, he probably wished he was
there. You got to skip his day of school?
No, he went. He wishes that he's big on the family. He's big on family time. Anyways, it was good. Like, they have it to where people go up and like unload the cars for you. And again, I'm a minimalist, right? Like, I'm like, Hunter, when I went to the Air Force Academy, they told me that I could bring like 3 pairs of clothes, like that was it. I had to carry.
They also gave you clothes to wear, Schlags.
I know, and I had a trunk. Like, I totally get it, but you're also in a dorm, and I knew that. So he had, to his credit,
what about that contraband hot plate you smuggled in there?
Oh yeah, and I that was down. I went to the BX to get. It was it was a hot plate, so I could put ramen noodle and stuff in there, and then I would like skim off chicken into a Tupperware and cut it up, eat that late at night, and then I bought a Coleman cooler that I could plug in to store my chocolate milk, so I could try to put on weight. Though I was a starting will linebacker at 205 pounds my freshman year. Anyways, I digress. It was great, and the kids that they had at volunteering was awesome. His coach was there to say what's up. They actually were leaving, walking down the stairs, and because he didn't want us to set up his room. I was like, dude, listen, Solutions for Institutions, you want me to set this room up for you. Don't leave it to you and your boy's device, like your new roommate's devices, to like try to figure this out. I got you. He complied, and his grandfather and I and him did it, and it looked really good. And then they were leaving, and I happened to run.
You're the Geek Squad, Anthony Schlegel Tech Help?
Well, it's not necessarily tech help. Like, you can handle these kids can handle the technology. It's the moving of the furniture and stacking it on the other furniture to like elevate it so you have more storage and you're not in a bunk bed, right? Because you're normally on a bunk bed, but you can put it to where you got two. But there's certain ways of doing it because there's like these pegs. And I was like, I got
You're
it.
the best at pegging or getting pegged.
Anyways, so I did that and I was about ready to leave. And then his roommate came in. I was like, hey, do you want the same setup? I know exactly how to do it. I'll help you. So I spent 15 minutes with them figuring it out. Boom, dapped them up. Buckeye fans. Side nugget. I was walking in and somebody just yelled out, gas station ready. So boom, he was dropping off his daughter that plays softball up there. Awesome. And then they have this art ceremony. Side nugget. Then once that was done, I was like, Steph, we're 27 minutes from Bowling Green. We got to go up there because Eddie has some striking machines and from Tennessee State that they got, and they want to do some more because that's how they clock into practice and clock out of practice is being violent with their hands. And so popped in there, saw him, and every time I see Eddie George, Bob, and I look at myself and I look at Eddie, I'm like, that is a running back, folks.
The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
I mean, guys, would I have thrown my stuff in there? 100%. But that's why I had to be 250. Oh my gosh, like the man is just enormous, and how fast and explosive he was trying to tackle that freight train. And the dudes love him up there. Got to meet one of their linebackers who I think was like all conference at BG's number 4. Thick cylinder. I told him that. Like, hey man, chicks dig thick cylinders, bro. And he just started giggling. But anyways, going to be a hell of a player. Their head strength coach was a former strength coach at Ohio State. Coach Chris, awesome dude. Got to see him and check out all the things they're doing. Yeah,
Federline. Chris Federline. Yeah, he was down with him in Middle Tennessee State and went up there, so pumped for him.
Well, he was at Temple. No, he was at Temple with Stan Drayton.
That's right.
Yeah, but anyways, Chris is a phenomenal strength coach, and he was actually taking them through. The offense was going to recovery, defense was going to film, and then they were going to swap. Their camp ends on Wednesday of next week. Obviously got a big one Saturday. And then they play on Thursday night. I think the 28th is when they play their first game at home. So it's going again, former Buckeye, Heisman Trophy winner, great human, Eddie George. It was awesome to see him. And then we drove back, and that was kind of the day, Bob. But it was a great experience up there at the University of Philly. They did it nice. It was very, very organized.
That's good. I'm glad you got to see Eddie over there, BG, and Chris and the whole crew, man. I mean, it's a pretty flat piece of land out there. I mean, you can see, I think, like St. Paul, Minnesota from BG. If you look at the right angle, there's like nothing, no elevation, nothing going on. But happy to see Eddie being up there with the Falcons and engaging with everybody. All right, Schleich, big news of the day.
Do it, because the chat's been so frothy.
Oh, I'm sure
it's been so good.
Folks have been waiting. That's why, Schleich, you don't want to just flip it out and toss it out there for them. You got to like let it savor a little bit. But the NCAA was coming down today.
Had a presser. Had something.
Had a presser today. And they're going to release the Hounds, the penalties for Michigan.
Are they ever going to release the findings? Like, I would love to read the findings and all the things that went down on this, because we got it from a very 50,000-foot view based on the information that we got.
I think everything that was out there, like nobody's really refuted it. Like there's
I'm talking about, I want to see the investigation documentation.
I think everything that we've talked about, I mean, it's kind of been there. Like, I don't think there's any real like hidden stuff. Everything that we have said, I think, is there. And that was what was in the report, at least as per my knowledge. It wasn't like there was any denial. Usually they're like, oh, these are accusations. Like, no one denied the fact that Connor Stalions was at Central Michigan. Like that, there was never denial about that. They tried to explain it initially, and then you're like, yeah, but no, because who is this guy? No, he's not that guy. He's not that guy. Here's this guy. Here's that guy. All the other people you're saying are right here. We have video of all of it. So just say it was another guy. And McElwain lost his job because of it. He was urged Schleich to resign. So let's get into it. All right. Documents sent to the school on Friday. NCAA's Committee on Infractions sanctioned the Wolverines and the following penalties. We'll break these down. We'll probably have to explore in the next segment. Fine equivalent to the anticipated loss of all postseason competition revenue associated with the 2025 and 2026 football season. So the next 2 years, they're losing all of the fine money from that. What I've been told, I guess the committee not impose the ban, the fines, including anticipated loss of these dollars, Schlegs. That 2-year ban, or that 2-year fine, not ban, is supposed to constitute $20 million plus dollars.
Okay.
And I don't know how they came to that, if them winning games in the postseason and moving along. Remember, the Big Ten breaks down their shares all evenly, and they've got all that stuff with it. And you do get some additional share money, I think, if you're playing in some of the games, but they lose all of that. How do we feel about fine versus ban?
I feel terrible about it because I know that in 2012, after the 2011 season, and again, Bob, read why they said, where'd it go? I'm just reading it. No, I highlighted it, guys. I'm highlighting. Basically, they didn't want to impose a postseason ban to players that are currently there. All right, so I go back to this. You know that you're being investigated for something that could be egregious. You decide to then go to that school. You understand that there could potentially be a ban. I know that in 2012, none of the people that were associated with the tattoos with Tress were actively on the roster. They all had graduated. And again, I still look back on that because we lived it, Bob. I was there when it all kind of transpired of the ruling. And we went 6-7 that year. And then Urban comes in. And honestly, I still feel 2012 was his best coaching job because it's the roster that you've been given. And you were 6-7 to went undefeated, 12-0, potentially playing Notre Dame. Well, would have played Notre Dame in the national championship game where Alabama absolutely housed them. And I think we win that football game. And that directly impacted the players because nobody else was associated with the program after that came down. Besides the fact of how I feel about the tattoos, the scenario, the FBI investigation, what Tress knew, and then also what he withheld from the NCAA because it was none of their damn business because it was being federally investigated. So anyway, besides that point, I don't like that because there's more to the story. And here, you know what?
Well,
I'm just going
to. Their current head coach was also on that roster.
Right. So again, these guys, I just go back to this, guys. I go back to this.
Take it on back now.
You're 49-22 as the head football coach of Michigan. You go 10-3, 10-3, 8-5, 10-3, 9-4, 2-4 during the COVID, and decide for some reason that you can't play the game because you got too many COVID. I don't know. You're 49-22. That then, when this starts, consequently, you go 40-3. And I'm not saying, and I'm going to tell you this, I'm not saying necessarily the sign stealing had anything to do with the 2023 because it was predominantly the 21-22, but there's also a lot of games associated with that and winning a Big Ten. And did none of those get vacated? All I remember is 2011, all of those got vacated. So I have a hard time with that as far as, just look at the numbers. Michigan pushed back. It didn't necessarily help on the field. And I can honestly, for all intents and purposes, understand the 2023 because it was already being investigated and Stalions was there. But, what I'm saying is I can understand that rationale. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily. But to go 49-22, this began to start. Oh, side nugget, you also spend, $35,000 on tickets to other places and travel to go self-scout. You all know that you're actively participating in this. And you go from 49-22 to 40-3. That doesn't add up. And the fact that the reason that you're not going to have that ban is because of how it can impact the current players when for all the precedents previously, you did such things that I have a hard time with that.
I do as well.
Not to mention that they were already on probation before COVID infraction. You were already on probation. You already had caused infractions back in 2020. And then these infractions happened again while on said probation.
Well, and
why would that not lead to something more?
Well, not to mention the whole hacking of the internet stuff by one of their offensive coordinator, Weiss, their offensive coordinator, and digging into all that schlegs and everything that happened there. I mean, there's a multitude of things. And so you kind of, like you said, they're on probation. You start kind of adding all this up. Instead of just doing I like the fine, I would have made it like a $40 million fine. And I probably would have, and the fine is really schlegs. It's just holding money from them that they would be getting. So it's not, but they probably have that built in their budget. So I get it. But I would probably make that a 3 or 4 year, and I would give them a 1-year postseason ban. Because the thing is, schlegs, when you start talking about this and diving into it, this is an example of a competitive advantage. This isn't just like, paying some kid to go to class or someone selling it, whatever it is, or even recruiting violations or anything. This is in-game advantage. And I've tried to tell people that's why this isn't just Ohio State. This is the rest of the Big Ten.
No doubt.
And other teams they played against. And like this is, I heard a guy, one of the guys on ESPN saying this, Myron Metcalf, and he goes, "This was the day the NCAA died. You had them dead to rights. You know what they did. Everybody knows what they did. This isn't something where, hey, a booster paid for this, or there was this happening or that happening that now is all legal anyway. This is a situation where people cheated to gain a competitive in-game advantage."
Yeah.
And it's something that they knew it was against the rules. This wasn't like subtleties here or there. You're paying for tickets. You've got people on other sidelines. You've got recording equipment recording their stuff. Like everybody knew what was going on. And Jim Harbaugh to claim the fifth, like, "Oh, I didn't know. See what the claim ignorance." Like that's not it. And there's like we have all these videos, documentation, like a guy who they said no one knew is standing right by the coordinators, like telling them what's going on and what's coming in and the signs of what they look like. So don't give me that nonsense.
Well, it says specifically, schools are not permitted to scout opponents in advance.
In person.
Especially in advance, in person, correct. And the specificity, there's one thing, I'll put this out there. There is one thing to get film on somebody and looking at the plays, maybe, right? But it's called huddle, right? Like you can get those anytime you want.
Or you can call, it's like let's say, you can call a former coach that you knew who played them, and they're going to give you some of the insight. These are the checks that we heard. This is what happened.
And we've all done that.
Everybody's done that,
right? Like when he went hot or he hit his helmet, like this was what he did. When he said this, it wasn't that cadence. It was on a second one. Those are in-game things that we all know and communicate. Like we did that in the league. Like you know these things because you have guys out there. And is that giving you a competitive advantage? Yeah, but you're doing it the right way. Honestly, there is a right way. It's like if you went against a pitcher and you're like, hey man, this guy does this. He shakes his glove every time he throws a changeup.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell somebody that? But it also doesn't mean I'm filming him from the back looking at the catcher to give a sign with an earpiece saying changeup's coming.
Yeah.
Or different.
Or you filmed it all and you've been watching his other games, which you're not allowed to do, like in person. Like that's part of it. And you were on another – the thing that's crazy to me is you're on another team's sideline. Like that's what's wild. So they got a 2-year penalty for that. We're going to get into some of the other stuff and keep breaking this down. We got to take a break. I want to let you know this. Tuesday, August 26th, about a week and a half now. It's FanDuel Day, Futures Day. A new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on your football predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race. Who do you want for the MVP? Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes. You pick the guy. Maybe a CJ Stroud. Who knows? Crown your champion in August. Who do you think is going to win it all? I mean, do you go with someone from the NFC? Maybe someone from the AFC? There's maybe the Lions. Maybe this is their year to break through. Or do you parlay your division winner dark horses? Maybe put them all together, figure out who can get it done. I know people that do the full 8 division parlay every year to try to get that done. So mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. More about
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, so let's get back in. Welcome to the Bobby Carpenter Show again, by the way. We appreciate you watching, listening, like, subscribe, leave your questions, comments, get active in the chat. We love all the interaction.
No, man.
No,
appreciate you guys. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it all, man. It's great. You guys are fantastic because you feel. Here's the deal, man. When you try to do it the right way and people don't, or you experience these things like I have within a university, and then you see something as egregious as this, and the NCAA, like, again, we've talked ad nauseum about how they're ineffective because they don't govern college football the right way. You completely lost everybody today.
Yeah,
I mean, everything was there.
You lose
everything was there.
You lose faith in the system is what you lose. Like, because it's all right there. You could have got it done. Like, this is even more reason. Like, the NCAA is feckless in this. You need all the member schools of whatever it is you're going to organization come together. Don't worry about getting sued. You guys break the rules. You do this or that. Here are the penalties. They're going to be steep. Everybody sign off. Presidents, ADs, boom, boom. We're agreeing to the rules of engagement now. And we're going to agree to the penalties. And they're not going to take a year or 2 years. They're going to be enforced immediately. Once we feel like we have enough evidence, we're going to show it out there, and this is what it's going to be. A couple other penalties. 10-year show cause penalty for former coach Jim Harbaugh. Okay, so let's talk about that. Jim Harbaugh Schlegs is over 60 years old. He's the head coach for the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's just assume that they maybe struggle. He might get fired at 64, 65. Jim Harbaugh's not coming back to coaching college football. This is his last job. You know, I can't imagine him coming back. And so you're giving a guy a penalty at 61, show cause, 10-year penalty. What, that's going to put him at 71? Like, he's going to be even coaching then? Like, that ain't going to happen, you know? And then they have an 8-year show cause penalty for Connor Stalions and a 3-year show cause penalty for Denard Robinson, which is probably the most punitive because Denard's a young guy and has a name and, you know, probably wants to, if that's his chosen profession to get into it, that's going to be tough. Connor Stalions, like, I mean, who's going to hire him, Schlegs? I'm not sure exactly what's going to go. So when you hear about those show causes, what comes to mind as you think about that?
Well, here's where I'm going to go real fast. I just keep going back to this thing. And again, these aren't even in the same. The problem I have in this is the thing that happened in 2011 with Ohio State versus what transpired with Michigan.
They're not even close.
They're not even in the same ballpark. And again, I am biased because I played for the man. You played for the man, Jim Tressel. And I'll be frank, Jim Tressel fell on the sword for a lot of people at Ohio State during this entire thing. And the Colts pushed back his start date 7 games into the season as a consultant, game day consultant, for concerns to the NFL that he would, you know, he wasn't banned from anything, but it was out of concern.
Out of an abundance of caution and concern, Schlegs?
Right. And so that the NFL would do something. This 10-year ban for Jim Harbaugh.
The NFL suspended Terrell Pryor for what, 4 games, 6 games, something like that.
Think about that. And that's loss of pay for him, right? So these aren't even in the same ballpark, but the penalties were far more severe, 14 years ago. And that's what I'm really struggling with, because everything they had done up to this point had a precedent that this is what we're going to do, and they completely went away from it. The 8-year ban was going back to what you were talking about. Show cause penalty for Connor Stalions. Nobody's hiring him. Okay? 3-year show cause for Denard. Okay, what was it? I just keep going back to this.
Take it back
By Connor Stalions' own admission, he expended significant resources and effort to plan the scheme, spending nearly $35,000 on tickets in 2022 alone. Through the scheme, Stalions collected, deciphered, and documented thousands of signals for use by other staff members. There's only 3 people mentioned in there. But if they were used by other staff members,
yeah, they were complicit in it because they knew where that came from. They can deny all they want.
you can die and all. Everybody knew what was going on. And then I continue to go back to this 2021. You're 12-2, coming off of a 9-4 in 19, a 2-4 in 2020. Somebody in the group chat said they've never had a top 15 recruiting class before then. And then you go 12-2, 13-1, and then win a national championship. And these are the things that transpired. Everybody knows. Everybody's screaming. We've talked about how Coach Locke's like third down, like who? Everybody's relaying the stuff. Everybody kind of knows where it's coming from or is relaying the message. Of the 9 main coaches, they all know what's going on because they're having those communications. And the thing goes back, where did the money come from? Where did the money come from? It came from the program. And you go at the end of that thing, though, Bob, which is great for everybody else that's out there. And all the stuff that we've heard that it was Ryan Day or it was a Buckeye or it was somebody.
It was Ryan Day's brother was a private
The
eye.
person who originally provided information to the NCAA about the Stallion scheme derived from its own campus. The unnamed source, which the NCAA has not disclosed, appears to have worked at Michigan, at least at one point, according to the response. So there you go. It came from within. Because why? This is wrong.
So the call is coming within the house. Scream.
See, I know exactly what it is.
I'm just making sure you knew. Like, that's what it was. But yeah, they get the allegations. Someone's like, let's look into how they found this out. It's Ryan Day's brother. He's a PI, and he dug in, did some nefarious things. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, Ryan actually addressed that. Like, you serious? You think this is what we did and this is how we found this out? It wasn't just Ryan. So I remember going back to Greg Schiano sitting there, and he's like at the halftime of when Michigan was playing Rutgers, he's like, there's a lot of funny stuff going on there with some of the signals and signs. We're going to have to dive into this and figure this out later. And like at halftime, he was not happy about it.
No.
It's just Ohio State. It's the entirety of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Michigan State, you had Connor Stalions filming your stuff when you're playing Central Michigan. What are we talking about? And so you talk about that. Now, Sharon Moore gets an additional game suspension. So he was suspended for 2 games this year. By the way, they picked the 2. It wasn't the first 2. He's not going to be suspended for the Oklahoma game. Like, it's his 2 games he's picking. And he has a 2-year show cause penalty for the head coach. The additional game suspension, Schlegs, comes in 2026.
Yes.
It's not even this year. What are we doing, Buckeyes? Like, my goodness.
You go look at that, and again, 4 years probation. And 3 year for Moore, he was already on probation, and that's why I keep going back. Like, they were already on. Again, if this case is individually standing and it's the first offense, and you're having all this stuff, I get it. But if you were already on probation, they got 4 years probation, so you're just extending the probation. So basically, under the entire tenure, like they just didn't follow rules, and we're just going to continue to put on more probation on top of probation. But when is it come into effect? Like, I had this happen to me. Hey, I got a bunch of demerits. I was on probation. I did something else. Poof, David Copperfield. I'm back to where I was because I should have got hit when I was on probation. It happens. But like, they didn't do that at all.
So you've been on probation before, so you knew that if you got in trouble again, they were going to send you to the clink. All right? Like, that's what probation is. If you're in trouble,
don't do it again, because if you do.
They also say, like, hey, like, you tell your kid, listen, you've done A, B, and C. I'm going to let you go do this, but you're on probation. Like, dude, you're not going to come back and you show up 5 minutes late for curfew and you're like, it's just 5 minutes. You were on probation. You were on a probationary period that you could not mess up. Anything. Like you said, and they go and do this. Like, oh my gosh. Like, that's the thing. It's a great point that you make, because nobody's really addressed that. The fact that they've been on probation, and that's kind of where they're at. Like,
you literally made mistakes, were found guilty during the COVID era, which again, that was crazy in and of itself. I lived it, coached in it. And you were put on probation. And then you did something else egregious while on said probation. And then therefore, like, what happened to those consequences? Like, they already told you one time that you were wrong. Here's a punishment. We're going to defer that. But now you did it again immediately following it. And I keep going back. 49-22 versus 40-3.
Yeah.
To say that that's not a competitive advantage, right? Makes no sense to me.
Well,
like you are blinded if that's what you think.
Exactly. Blinded by the light, Schlegs. Here's
all I know is this. All I know is this.
All I know is this.
I was watching in 2022. And there was a play where they ran it right into a blitz that you would never leave a middle of field safety open in that position. And yet they ran that play. That's against Ohio State. Like, how? Why? Nobody has that kind of balls to do that. I'm just saying, it changes the way
you run double moves. You run double moves on the slot. I'm telling Martinez, I'm like, dude, you picked a bad play to have bad play. They double moved you in an all-out blitz when you have no safety help. And then you realize, like, well, maybe it wasn't just bad luck. Maybe they knew to run the double move because you're going to get man with no free safety, and we'll max it up and we'll be good. To take a quick break, I want to tell you about our friends over at XSport. Parents and athletes, protect what matters most with XSport mouth guards. Trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. XSport mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection. They're tested to absorb those high-impact hits. They'll protect your teeth and your brain. They've got the patented carbon fiber in their Schlegs. 3D printed to your unique smile for more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Do not take chances with your safety. Visit xsportguards.com /Bobby today and save 15% on your order. XSport, protect what matters most. More of the Ohio State Michigan breakdown. Or really, why are we even Ohio? It's more the Michigan penalties.
No, it is. It is. It doesn't impact us at all.
Coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Oh, my favorite is people that are Michigan fans in this. And I've talked to some people that are kind of embarrassed about it because they know it was a stand on the university and how it's not Ohio State fans complaining. It's the rest of the league. Like, and this is something that's a competitive advantage. Like, it's not anything else, whatever. But this is something that's ridiculous. And anybody who played or coached will tell you that. People that don't are being disingenuous. So that's part of the issue with this. So it's not Ohio State fan. If this was anybody, I would have said this is ridiculous. The fact that it's someone that was in the conference in your rival, okay, that's one thing. But if this was anybody, if Ohio State did this, I would be embarrassed that this is what you felt you had to do to win.
Yeah, no doubt. You couldn't develop your players.
You can't coach better. And like you said, whatever, 43-23 versus 40-4. Like, okay. No,
49-22. Yeah. Versus 40-3. And again, I want to make this very, like, this is not a rivalry thing.
No.
This is all the things that we do to provide competitive excellence, to get yourself right, to go out there and play the game.
This is equivalent like trying to take steroids or something, Schlegs. Like, dude, it's a performance enhancer. It's changing the balance of power on the field during the game. So
I want to go back. I got to go look this up. Keep talking, Bob, because I'm going to find some nuggets here.
Look up some nuggets. So some of the other stuff here, they got 4 years probation, which they're already on probation. So 4 years extended. They're worth the time. $50,000 fine. Okay. Plus 10% of the budget for the football program. Okay. So what's the budget for the football program in Michigan? Probably $50 million, maybe $75 million. So that's another $5 to $7.5 million, maybe $100. I don't know what it is, but you're probably talking $5 to $10 million there, I would imagine. So $5 to $10 million on top of the 25 that 20 that you're losing. So now we're getting to 20 to $25 million. Now we're in the fines. A fine equivalent to 10% of the scholarships awarded in Michigan's football program for the 2025-6 academic year. So this coming season, so let's say that's 8.5 scholarship Schlegs. Cost of scholarship, I was looking up in Michigan as far as like full cost of attendance. For in-state is probably 40 to 40,000. Out of state is probably around 80. So let's just call it 50 grand times 8. So you have 5 times 8. So it's another 400,000, 450, maybe 500, depending on how it is. So we'll say 400 to 500,000 there. So you start talking 20, 25 to 30 million, 30 and a half, 30 million, 0.5. And that's like it. Okay. So let's say you got a $25 to $30 million fine over 2 years. Most of that's going to be in the first year, probably 10 million-ish of it will be in the second. I get that. That's fairly punitive. I don't necessarily hate that fine when you start looking at everything that is all rolled up into it. Here's the one thing, the next two things, Schlegs, because those are the monetary elements of it. The next two things, 25% reduction in football official visits during the 2025 season. Like there's some significance to that because you need to get players to be able to win. 14-week probation on recruiting communications in the football program during the probation period. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, whether it's like each coach, like, this, you get to send out coaches every week. You get your 10 assistants and they can go out and recruit. And I don't know if that means like you lose 14 of those weeks among all of the coaches, or there are 14 weeks where everybody can't go out. I'm not sure. I've got to figure that out of kind of how that ultimately comes down and what that looks like. When you kind of see that all together, where are we at?
Here's I'm gonna go back to this point. Where I am with that is it's inconsequential. It's the NIL era, very different now. If you got people that want to come to your program and you have the money and the resources to do it, you're reducing some of the visits. And to your point, Bob, that 14-week during it said probation period of a probation period. I don't even know what that means. So basically,
your probation Schlegs.
Yeah, so you can't talk to them during a dead period. All right, well, guess what? You already did that during the COVID time. So, I digress. But the in-stadium visits, that's not going to matter. It's if a kid wants to go there and you pay him more money, or they like what you're about, they're going to come see you whether or not you reduce it to 25. All it does is, hell, it's the people that have to put on the show. Hey, at 25% less people, all right? Like you're actually doing them a favor, not necessarily what you're doing in recruiting. And let's face it, like they haven't recruited at a high level till as of late. So they're really inconsequential to me as far as a hit. Like the $20 million that should have exceeded more than that potentially, depends on what happens over the course of the next two postseasons, could be significant. I mean, hell, everybody was talking about Ohio State spent all this money on NIL. Other teams did it more, but that's what it cost Michigan to win a national championship, basically, is what you're saying.
All right.
Here's a bigger point than all this.
Hold on. Whoa. Bigger point. That's going to be our headline, Schlegs.
All right, let me bring it back.
Write it down so your CTE brain doesn't forget it.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break. I want to tell you about our friends over at Backer, brand new Buckeye gear. Premium Buckeye gear for premium Buckeye fans, founded to make better quality fan gear. I've got the products. They're great. They've got the coats, wind, rain, cold, all there. You're going to need it during the season. They've got elite hats. It's all the functionality and features you want. They feel good. They look good. It's the premium Buckeye stuff that you love, like that high-end golf, fishing, hunting gear, skiing gear that you're going to use. BCKR.com. Go to it, Backer, BCKR.com. Use promo code all caps, Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y. Check out. You have free expedited shipping. Season's here. It's still warm. It'll be cold before you know it. So go check them out, BCKR.com. It makes great gifts. And they do have other teams too there if you want to buy that, but hopefully you don't. We'll take a quick break. We got our headlines coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, our headlines are brought to you by our friends at Lake Spur. If you're looking to scale your marketing, let Lake Spur marketing team be your trusted marketing agency. They've got a broad range of experience, regardless of the industry. They can help you out. Lake Spur prides themselves on building partnerships. They're confident they'll deliver results, but more importantly, it's about the relationships they're going to build with you and the confidence you will have in them. Lake Spur marketing, the proof is in their partners. Visit them at lakespurmarketing.com today. All right, Schlags. Our headline today, and folks, get your questions fired up in the chat. If you've got anything for us there, we got Tailgate Talk coming up.
Put a bunch of question marks in front of it, and then your question with more question marks. I can see. Yeah, I like that. We should do that more.
Yeah, so we know it's a question. Give us like 3 question marks, then the question. We'll do it Spanish style, Schlags. If you can flip it upside down so you know it's a question before it starts. Buckeyes. Schlags' big point. He's been pondering this thing. It's been rattling around in there.
Hey, you know what? Here's the deal. You go back to 2021. Michigan. They beat Wisconsin. They beat Nebraska. They beat Indiana. Okay? Right? 2022. You beat Indiana. You beat Nebraska. Didn't play Wisconsin. But I go back to, and again, you guys got to remember, I coached this game. All right? Not only did I play in college in the NFL, I coached in college in the NFL. And all wins matter. All wins could potentially, change the course of trajectory of your team that season. I go back to the 2012 game versus Michigan State at Michigan State, the Chalice game that we all call it, Bob. I think it really changed the trajectory of our team that season and really kind of came together after that win on the road. Consequently, Scott Frost fired, Paul Chryst fired, Tom Allen fired. That's why it's such a big deal, because everybody puts so much into going out there, preparing your team, and winning games, and we are evaluated
probably cost CJ Stroud a Heisman. If he wins those games, I think it probably changes people's view of him, and that's a life-changing experience.
Altering, right? Life-changing. Also, like altering of those seasons in their view at Ohio State. I mean, that senior class never beat Michigan. That's just a fact, right? So, again, you go back, like, wins matter, and how you competitively attack those with integrity matter. And basically what the NCAA said in this was that it didn't. And I mean, because, again, they had everything. And I keep going back to the fact that these said coaches were already on probation that committed then another violation. And everything. And I'm not viewing this from an Ohio State thing at all. I'm just viewing it from the precedent that's already been laid before. And so you had somebody that was already on probation that was then did something egregious. Now they're putting them on probation again. What happened? Like, that makes no sense to me, considering the fact that other schools, other situations that don't bring into the mix competitive excellence and integrity of the game received a bowl ban and received, vacated wins, right? Ohio State, I mean, yeah, I can only use it because I was there, lost the Big Ten, 2011 teams season vacated, and a bowl ban in 2012 that could have been a national championship. Just the facts.
Right. That's it for our headlines. We've got Tailgate.
All right, let's go questions.
Your questions. There's a comment in here I want to get to, and then there have been some questions that have been fired away. So stay tuned and locked in here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right.
All right, I was gonna answer him in the chat.
Here's one. This is what.
Hey, real truck. That's what Bob said before I interrupt him. They're the best. Go on.
Well, this is the comment by Mike Green. We can get to this. 0 vacancy of games. That's insane. The vacating of wins. Like I look at that. I don't know, Schleiks. I'm not sure how do you feel about vacating wins?
Well,
like, you watch something happen. You watch them win a national championship. Like that's real.
And I don't even mind that the national championship stands because that entire season they were under investigation and he wasn't on the sideline. And I don't know. Again, that's why I said, like, what do the documents say? Like, were they still using the same signs or whatever? But the 2021 and 2022, when this was all going down, 100% should have been. Like, there should have been something. And I think that's kind of my where I am with it. It's like, okay, if it stopped before, and again, why do I think that they won, right? In 2023, I don't think it was because they had sign steal in 2023. The guy wasn't part of the program. Maybe they used some. I don't know. Probably not to the depth that they did, but they had a veteran group of dudes, man. So like, I'm not going to take that necessarily away, but the 2021 and 2022, when the dude was on the sideline telling what was going on and literally right next to a coordinator every single snap, I have a problem with that those things didn't get vacated. So to me, I'm looking at it, I'm like, how do you not take away 2021 and 2022, especially when you know the dollar amount and the lengths they went to do this in that season? That makes no sense to me.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of documentation for it. Like, that's the thing. This is from James McLaughlin. How do you punish the current players while punishing the head coach, like what we're talking about here? Just trying to parcel that out. You know, you addressed it. Here's the one thing I will say that things have changed where that's on for steep fines. You can do vacating of some wins. You can do a postseason ban this year. And here's the reality, Schleiks. You can let all these guys transfer. If they would have got to this in the spring, then you could have let them, hey, you want to go somewhere else? Hit the spring transfer portal. Like, you don't have to stay here if you don't want to play. You can go somewhere else. Like, you chose to come there. And like you pointed out, they chose to come there knowing this was happening. Like, and that's something that maybe part of it is you should disclose that you're probably going to get a postseason ban. Like, it's another big piece of it, that you're coming here knowing that that's a realistic possibility. The NCAA should have made them like send letters to their recruits saying that this is a possibility moving forward.
Yep. Agree. Go to another question.
Wow, there was one about Matt. He said it was poorly worded. Is there any substance to the guys that got drafted higher, underperforming in the NFL based on, you know, what has happened here, like in getting the signs because they knew the plays were coming? We'll have to see. Matt,
they're young in their career. They're young in their career.
I'm not ready to say J.J. McCarthy. First of all, he got hurt last year. I'm going to have to see a couple years of him before he looks good. The corner, who I can't remember, out in Will. What was his name?
Well, Hutchinson for Detroit, man.
Hutchinson played really well. Like, there's been some guys that played well. There's been some guys that get hurt. Like, I don't think we'll have to see. J.J. McCarthy will be interesting because if you know what the coverage is and what things look like, that helps you a lot as a quarterback. I'll have to see how he performs. Last year he got hurt. Like, that's not a function of any of this, but we'll see how he performs over the next couple of years. I'm not ready to like fully rule that out, that's the way, Schleiks, or rule it in or rule it out, but I got to see a little bit more. But I don't think that that's a crazy thing for most of the positions.
Yeah, I agree with you. And here's the deal too. It's like you still have to go and perform. You still have to make open field tackles. Like, you still have to do it, but the NFL is so different. And again, if they had that type of competitive advantage, which they obviously did, it will play out. Their careers are just so new and young that you're gonna have to see a body of work. And like an Aiden Hutchinson, he's blitzing a quarterback. Like, he's going after it. Now, did it help him on a screen pass potentially? Yeah, but like, he's still gonna go impact the quarterback and rush the passer because that's a craft in and of itself.
So this is the thing. Mike Green threw this up, and Joshua Dillon. I think that paid posts. I didn't even know that was a thing that we could do on here. I don't know where the money's going, but whatever. Joshua Dillon said, no wins vacated. This is a joke. Mike Green, who we talked about, fellas, this is telling us integrity doesn't matter in the sport, and the fact that they're celebrating it shows their level of integrity in their fan base. And I do agree with that, Mike. this is an integrity thing. And that's why I thought the punishments, I didn't think you should castrate them the way they did SMU. But there is a degree of this where there has to be punitive damages because this is an integrity thing, like what you're willing to do to win. And by not coming down firm on this, I don't think you needed to just bash them into oblivion, but being firm, like at least a 1-year postseason ban. You know what? If you want to vacate the wins from 21 and 22, okay, I'm for that as well. I'm not against it. The fines I thought were substantial, and I think that's important. But there had to be some teeth to it because if not, just like it goes back to the line. Like the behavior you see is either taught or allowed.
Yep.
And if you're permitting it, you're promoting it. And like you look around college football now, if this is what happens, why not do it? Like, why not do it? And that's what is concerning to me. Like, that's the problem. You start talking about the integrity of the game. All right.
Hey, Bob, 1 second. 5 seconds. Somebody on there said, well, Ohio State had Michigan's playbook in 2022. That's false. I'm going to give you guys a prime example.
Like, people make this stuff up. There's no.
I know they do. But I want to give you a prime example. I still know Michigan's playbook from when you and I played them. Right? How do you want to beat quarter, half, right, Bob? Boom. Yeah. You load it and you run 2 spot routes with a back to the flat. What does that mean? Then Will has to push all the way to the new 4. The Mike has to push all the way to the new 3. And it's what you run on 3rd and 5 because you know that's what Ohio State does defensively. But we also know that's what they like to do. And so guess what you do? You say, hey, alert, 4 first crosser, quads. And then I boss over, also knowing that there's 1 back, 1 gap, and they can only run 1 play to the backside. That's called football, guys. I don't need somebody's play to know that. I know what they like to do versus that concept. That's called football, man. So there's a difference between knowing what people do and how they want to attack you versus knowing what play they're actually going to run on that play.
That moment.
That's the difference, guys.
Because that's the difference between knowing a run or a pass and like how aggressive you can be, on the perimeter, what you can do with your safeties. Like it's just there's a big difference with that, especially if it's a downward 50-50 run pass. So you have to kind of be hesitant. All right, had a great show. We're gonna have some parting thoughts of one Mr. Anthony Schlegel coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, Schlegs, kind of summate. We're going to hit something positive, I guess, due to the week. You're going to put my stuff out there, which is great.
Yeah, do it.
Positive. But thank you for everybody watching. We appreciate today. One of our most highly watched shows here live. I'm sure this will have a big impact. Thank you for all the reactions in the chat. Yeah, this was me. You can turn the sound on. This is a little positive note here. For me running some of the gasser tests, our conditioning tests back at Ohio State and with Tress. Yeah, sound on that, Pat?
No, it's okay. I can live it. I can do it right there, guys. So this is what you do. You give them a 5-second countdown, right? I like to give them a 15-second, right? So you know when to approach the line. Then I give them a 5-second. I did think that Bob got down too early because I never like to hold it. When I heard a 3, that's kind of when I got down.
I like to hold it at 5. I like to hold it at 5, man.
I understand. And you, right? Everybody can run this in a different manner. But here's the thing. Bobby's 42 years old, his Buckeye birthday, and he ran 20 half gassers over and back. It's 106 yards, and all of them 17 seconds with a couple still at 16. That's very impressive. All right, if anybody wants to go try that, go have at it. All right. So my job is to be an encourager, and I give out. So right here, I'm yelling 10 because you already kind of know. And here's how you run it. You burst across the field. You got to throttle it down. You got to time it up. When you're going to make the turn, how fast you're going. I hear that 10. I want to be hearing that 10 call when I'm at by the first hash. Then I know I can stride it out, and then I can cruise it in so I can get in before the 18 seconds is called, which 17.99 is actually 17.
So, hold on. It's an important comment by Matt saying Bobby's standing straight up out of his stance, needs to stay low. I'll tell you this, my legs, you're watching the ones at the end. I was popping up a little bit. And what's sad, Schlegs, at this point in my life, I cannot stay in drive phase very long anymore. Like I can if I'm fresh. My knees don't drive nearly as high. Like watching myself run was very depressing. I thought in my mind I was still having a lot more athleticism. I'm probably driving for about 3 to 4. I'm smoked at the end. Legs feed the wolf, legs, and the wolf was hungry at that point. Gosh,
hey,
yeah.
I like that you talked about his drive. To me, it's how you get out of the turn. It's how you accelerate to the next hash mark. But I will say this, guys. Like, hey, Bob, drive phase is the only one I can get in. I can't get into third and fourth. Like, I'm still short range.
Yeah, I can get rolling a little bit, but my knees, man, it was so depressing seeing that my knees don't go up very high anymore, and that hurt me.
It's like me listening to myself talk. I hate doing that. Watching yourself run, I can imagine it's the same.
It's awful. And hey, good news. Listen, it's not the hardest thing. Next Tuesday, I'm going to go down Schlegs, going to do some stuff with Tress, some physical fitness for the Governor test. Pretty excited about that. To get all the kids around Ohio excited. So, folks, it's a great initiative by our governor and lieutenant governor to do that. And then also on Wednesday, Schlegs, maybe more physically demanding than that, I'm going to go be hopping up with the Blue Angels. So next Wednesday, I'm pretty excited to test my ability to that. They're going to have a GoPro in the cockpit, so we'll get a chance to watch me be like AJ, where you went like this, threw up, passed out. And so
they're coming to train. They're coming to train at the Armory. So what I'll do is I'll say, hey, you guys want to get bumpy? And I was like, hey, we're going to do a really twitchy CNS primer so you can take Bob up there and just get him.
Yeah, that's good. Try to wear them out so that they pass out with me, and then we both crash into the ground. That'll be a great way. Hey, Schlegs, I mean, do you think I could get, if I die in a military aircraft as a civilian,
you get a military burial?
I still qualify for a military burial. That's all I'm asking. You get one, you'll get the 21 guns. I think it's the greatest thing. Watching it for my grandfather when he passed, it was a thing of honor, and getting his flag and seeing all that, it was awesome. But maybe that might be my way to go. At 42, the military burial, the Blue Angel going down, me in the back seat.
He ejects and you just are holding on.
I'm holding in, dude. I'm not letting that thing get me out of there. I'm riding it down to the ground. It'll be truly an honor. Crazy show today. A lot of interesting things. We'll have you up. Hey, maybe next week we'll know the quarterback. If we do, we will give it to you here. If Ryan chooses to announce that, I have no idea which way that's going to go. I don't know if anybody does, and I'm not even sure Ryan does right now. They've got a big scrimmage tomorrow, so we'll take a look and tell you how that goes. So stay locked in here. We'll catch you up Monday on the Bobby Carpenter Show.